What's up, wild animals? I'm Melanie Vesey, and welcome to another Promotional Rescue talk show. I'm a stand-up comedian, actress, and filmmaker. And if you want to see any of my work, you can do that over at melanievesey.com. But I'm also a promotions consultant, where I teach people how to promote without feeling gross. And if you want to know more about who I work with and what my services are, you can do that at promotionalrescue.com. But on the talk show, I talk with people who are promoting themselves, whether they like it or not, and how that process is going for them. I am so stoked to have this person on my show today. He's a stand-up comedian. I saw him perform at the Motor City Comedy Festival, to which I was also on a few years ago. Started following him, gently stalking, just seeing what a genius is up to. And through this process, I saw that he released this book, which is called Running the Light. If you love comedy, if you are a comedian, if you love comedy, you need to get this fucking book. I can't transmit that enough to you. This guy's been seen on Comedy Central, JFL. He's on Will Smith's Joka. I think I said that right. Not quite fucking sure. That's going to be out in November. And like I said, this is his book. Please give it up for Sam Tallent. Woo!
Hey, Melanie, what a power-packed intro. Thank you. Yeah, I'm intimidated by you immediately, which is good.
What? Excellent. The leather dress is working. That's all I ask.
Yeah, you look like you're from the future, man. I'm loving it.
I am. I'm here. I know. Then you know what? All of my fucking neuroses is working, and it's firing on all cylinders, and I feel blessed. You see how powerful I am?
Yes, I do. I can feel it. You're emitting strength through the computer screen.
So, Sam, we've never really met before. I mean, we've only been in the same room together once. And of course, I've been following you through the years. And so I don't know you personally, but you've made a wonderful and a beautiful transition, which I feel like a lot of people have during this time as they venture into other projects. My focus is always to talk about promotion. So you've been a stand-up comedian for 10 plus years, 11 years?
Only source of income for 13 years.
Amazing. Wonderful. Yeah. Fucking amazing. And now an author. So let's talk about your promotional journey, right? Getting people into rooms, getting people to do shit what you want them to do. Is this something that you enjoyed? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Have you made peace with it? Please.
Melanie, I'm so you get offered a lot of weird podcasts. And when I saw yours was about promo, I was like, yes, because I've never really considered my promotional journey, but you need to get that on t-shirts and like TM that. I've always been very, very opposed to self-promotion and turned off by it and grossed out by those who are so thirsty for followers and whatnot, probably to my detriment. But I've really prided myself on being organic and having a very grassroots, active, virile fan base that likes me because I work hard, because I have integrity, and because, I do the damn job. And not to say that people that promote very hard don't have integrity. It's just like, I've only done it through like barnstorming into town. I mean, I can ramble, so please cut me off when you have talking points. But my whole promotional plan...
No, please.
Okay, so like people always ask me like, how did you get to the point? Because I can now sell out around 80 to 100 seat venues in most markets in America, which is very cool, and I'm very proud of that. But that happened by meeting someone probably in Denver, where I'm from and where I started, and they would be like, hey, I have a show in New Orleans. Or I would just go to Oklahoma City because I heard they had a really good like Wednesday open mic. And I would go to these cities, and I'd do a week, and I always use New Orleans as an example. I would do a week in New Orleans, and I would do every open mic, and I would try and kill and crush and maim. And then by the time if you get there on Monday, by Thursday, someone's like, hey, I run a really good show on Sunday. Do you want to do it? And I can give you like $20. And then by the time you do that, people will tell you like, hey, if you're ever back in New Orleans, I can give you $60 to headline my Wednesday night show.
Yeah.
So a year later, you go back to New Orleans and you call in these favors, and you make maybe $300 in the week, and you sleep on someone's couch. And you get to meet all the comics very organically, and they know that you're very good at comedy, and that you're easy to get along with, and you're a fun hang, and you can take a bong rip like a champion. And then the next time you go back to New Orleans a year later, you're able to draw 20 people, or you do the best showcase in town in New Orleans. So you get to go and make $200 and then move on to Pensacola the next night and then work your way up to Atlanta for Star Bar on Monday. So it was all very much like, I come from like punk rock and hardcore, where
Yes.
it's like you have to go play the show, sell your merch, get kids to invest in you. But I never had a mailing list, man. I've never enjoyed Twitter. I like Instagram because I think photos are fun and it's fun to goof around on there. But like, I do utilize Facebook for promotion only. I always respond to people's message requests. I'm
You
always
do.
like, I'm very much into the idea of trying to get rid of the idea of fan and just having like co-conspirators, I think, which sounds pretentious.
No.
But I really enjoy when people are invested in you, so that when you are successful after they saw you at the billiards hall in Springfield, Missouri on accident with 12 other people, 4 years later when you're on television, they can tell all their friends like, hey, I've known this guy. He did a show in my house in Salem, Oregon. So like they want to brag about you. And I think that that's a pretty legitimate way to promote, while also having it come off as organic and not as some like Machiavellian exploitation, you know?
Yeah, I think that for me, in hearing all of that, it's you really do deliver the like, and I always say this, even though I have a show about promotion, I can't, and a company, I can't stress enough that it's the product. You have to have the best product. So all the promotion in the world might get you like a little blip, but it'll be short-lived. It's never like, you have to have the best product, right? So I'm always telling people, work on your craft, work on your thing, make sure that you're the best that you possibly can be. And then the promotion can rise to it and help support the transaction.
I totally agree. I think being
just,
undeniable on stage is the best tool a comedian can have.
yeah.
And I did buy in wholeheartedly into the idea of the meritocracy, which I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have just tweeted more for like the first 10 years of my career. And it would have been easier, for sure. But I agree with you. Having a product is very important.
Yeah. And then you decided to write this book, which in the first couple pages, I knew I was like, I think I really have to like talk to this guy on the show, only because I hated reading as a young girl. I never fell into reading. And I would often say like, books are stupid, whatever, I'm not getting this, whatever. And then someone gave me a copy of Charles Bukowski's Women. And then
great.
I was like, oh, these are the kind of books I like, you know what I mean? And I have a 15-year-old son now who just hates reading, and a part of me just wants to hand him Bukowski. But I also am a recovering drug addict. So I'm also just totally like, am I delivering Taxi Driver and Bukowski to my fucking 15-year-old kid as this blueprint of how to be a fucking wild animal in the future? You know, so I do know that there is, anyway, and also too, the first night that I read it, I had nightmares.
Wow.
And it was because you were able to transmit this feeling that, you know, if you've ever been on that, you know, that Coke run that's on the back end of that and trying to make it work and going like it really did seep into my pores. And so first off, I also want to know, has somebody optioned this for a movie? Because I feel like this is, or I don't know, can you even talk about that? I just feel like it would be like a wonderful movie to see.
Well, yeah, thank you. And I mean, I'm very much interested in owning my own content. Like, I don't have an agent or a manager for stand-up. I recently, like 3 days ago, signed with a literary agent after having one initially before I self-published, and the guy was like, I can get you $7,000 for this. And I was like, well, I think I can self-publish and make more money. But yeah, like I that's the issue, man, is like I want to sell the film, right? So I want to sell out, buy my wife a house, pay off my parents' mortgage. Like, all that shit's very important to me. But if I can get $500,000 or $1 million and then make the movie myself, starring like John C. Reilly or Hank from Breaking Bad or you know, any number of just kind of schlubby dudes, I feel like I can make more money. So yeah, like there's offers to option it, and I'm entertaining them, but I'm really interested in trying to maximize my income. And I always have been, you know, I've always been the guy who sells his own merch. I screen print all my own stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, like I control every aspect of my business because on a larger scale, you know, an extra dollar adds up to $1,000 after 1,000
Yes,
units, you
it
know?
does.
So it's like every
And also
penny
too,
matters.
the beauty of where we're at in 2020, if there is any beauty in this fucking year, which is challenging as fuck, which is that the gatekeepers aren't there as much. Do you know what I mean? If you have the capability to self-publish and have it be a success, which it sounds like you're having that experience, right?
Yeah, I'm very grateful
Or
for that.
and then the ability to be like, hey, I can actually control this, right? And then hopefully grow an audience that could help support that, because when you have an audience that's already excited about this, they're on the journey with you. They're going along for the story. Hey, I remember seeing this guy at the bowling alley in, you know, bumfuck whatever. I've
Yeah.
watched him go through the process. Now he's got a book. Now it's a movie. They will buy that ticket. They will buy
Yeah.
multiple tickets. They'll help you kickstart. They'll help you, and then you get to keep the control that you want to have. And then, of course, then, you know, keep as much money as you possibly can on the back end of that or wherever that goes. But there does have to be that component of taking an audience with you on the process of that, which is, it just doesn't come natural unless I find my younger clients sometimes have an easier time being oversharing, over promoting. I usually
Sure.
find that people who are a little bit older, you know, we've been told, you know, don't toot your own horn, nobody wants to hear you fucking brag. Like, and I
100%.
feel like some of that has been at our detriment. But I feel like what I want to do is get everybody in the middle. Keep on working on your craft, have the best fucking thing, and then marry that with some solid promotion, and you're good. The marriage will happen, you know?
And that just speaks to that product being important, because you're not bragging if the product is good. You're not tooting your own horn. If you're really proud of something and you know
Yes.
it's good, exposing that to people should be the goal. But
Yes.
if you don't have a good product and you're just saying I'm the best, blah, 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 and then you get your ass handed to you on the road, and then the club's embarrassed and they can't have you back, or they bump you down to feature, like that's because
Ow.
it's brutal. It breaks my heart for people, but also there's some Schadenfreude involved where I'm like, well, I
That's
only
the
had
word of the
12
day.
minutes.
That
Yeah,
is
exactly.
the word of the day. I have tested positive for that today.
Melanie, you're killing me, man. Hell yes.
Well, I do have also a couple other questions for you. So,
But I will, one more thing, just real
yeah.
quick. So like you were saying about how people want to have ownership about you and how you bring them with you. I did a show in North Dakota for a bunch of oil workers like 4 years ago. One of the worst shows ever. I go back every year to Mandan, North Dakota, and do this show at Armies West because they like me. I don't like the gig. I like the paycheck. I like hanging out with oil workers afterward, but the gig sucks, you know.
Okay.
A bunch of people who have literally $10,000 cash in their pocket every Friday because of the oil boom. And if you're not a pretty lady dancing nude on a table, they don't really care.
Yeah.
But so I've done this gig just for the money, which is not where you want to be. But when the book came out, some of these oil workers started a book club. So there's like 35 roughnecks in North Dakota and Calgary who probably they said they've never read a book before, but they're reading my book and they're discussing my book. And like those 4 years of shows are all paid off by these oil workers sitting down and reading this thing that I'm the most proud of. Like that's just that's a small example, but that's the kind of shit that gets me fired up. That's the kind of stuff that gets my nipples hard. You know what I mean?
I feel like, and I've talked with many people on the show, and I feel like it's the long con that we're interested in. We're not in the easy payoff. And hearing that, there is an investment in it, right? So in doing this work, we have to understand that it's the quality that goes into it over long periods of time. And I feel like when I'm working with artists, they can be so impatient. The impatience, wanting to get it out, wanting to get it done. I've got to do it right now. And I'm always just totally like, okay, let's slow it down. The urgency is almost something that I wish I could unplug from everybody. Like I'm just totally like, it doesn't help you. It makes you make grabbing and being desperate. You don't want to be like that. You want to have the choices and the opportunities to do that. I feel like that's such a wonderful story. And I feel like that is like rewarding. Like it's truly rewarding in the process of all of it. That's amazing. And then, so how has it been different, So you decided to write this book, and then did you bring some of your like promotional skills from doing shows, or did you have to think about like, well, how would I promote this book, or did you like learn on the fly? Like, what did you do to kind of prepare for its success?
Well, that thing you said about impatience applies to me for sure. Like
It's everybody. It's everybody.
yeah. And I do think that like desperation now is the norm. Not that I was desperate in this, but like when you see like 19-year-olds desperately thirsty by licking doorknobs at airports for followers, who cares, that does gross me out. But like I wrote this book. My wife did her first 2 years of med school in Las Vegas. I didn't have any friends. It was a bleak, quiet time for me. So I sat down and wrote a novel. I thought the novel was going to sell to this like powerful agent that I had for a minute. He couldn't get enough money to interest him. So I said, okay, I'll put it out myself. When COVID hit and all my entire calendar, because I make all my money off live stand-up,
Yeah.
my calendar disappeared. I was like, well, I'm putting this bad boy out. And I did not have a plan. My plan initially was I put out that I'm going to sell 303 for Colorado, where I'm from. That's our area code, 303 signed copies of the book. And I said I was going to release it on my birthday, May 2nd. So get your pre-orders in now via Venmo, PayPal, or Zelle, which was an insane, I'd never do that. Have a website, people.
Oh my God, yes. Please tell us this. Please talk to the people. Talk to the people about what didn't work, girl,
Yeah.
because I'm sure your fucking, I mean, that your inbox, I mean, your Venmo, like I'm always talking to people where I'm just totally like, always set yourself up for the ultimate success. Don't do this like, oh, just DM me for info. And I'm like, oh, like, no. The info should be there. A website is your fucking friend. It is your home.
Yeah.
It should be updated. People should get every inch of information there.
Sure. Yes. You're preaching now. I'm in your church.
Talk to the people. Tell the people.
Well, okay, so I looked at my website and I was like, okay, so for every book I sell through them, I lose $1. And it was me being greedy again, where I was like, okay, if I sell 303 books, then I'm going to lose $303. So I'll just literally go through at my Venmo and tell people either they would post their address for shipping on the Venmo, or I would have to then hit them up. Venmo doesn't give you their email, so I'd have to comment on their thing, or I'm seeing who our connected friends are. You know? Oh man, it was brutal, dude. So it was terrible because when I put up 303, that first day, I sold 700 books. All right. And I was like, okay, this is a win. This is good. By the end of that week, by May 9th, I'd sold 1,500 books through Venmo. So me and my wife were sitting in a basement in Detroit, Michigan, and I'm having her, because I would copy and paste the addresses to an Excel.
Oh my God.
And then I would have to copy and paste those to my stamps.com.
Oh
so
my
we had
God.
to go through 1475 addresses, and she had
God.
to proofread every one of them while I read them off. It was a nightmare.
You would have paid somebody $303 to fucking do that for you, right? I mean,
100%.
I'm getting anxiety. I'm getting anxiety just listening to that. A spreadsheet by hand. Your beautiful little stunning wife sitting there like the two of you just like hunkered over. Like, is that Avenue or Boulevard? Sam, is it Avenue or Boulevard? You know what I mean? Like, just that is a fucking nightmare. But
It was hellish. It was so bad.
But it's also a luxury nightmare because what you did was over this time of doing comedy for 13 years, plugging away, right? You're growing your audience. They're coming with you to greater or lesser degree with your promotion or what have you. You're excited. You put this thing out and then everybody goes, yes, me, right? And then it was like tidal wave. Okay. So then what did you learn? What could you say to the children to like set yourself up for the future when you're making this job?
Excuse me. I would just say that if you have a Squarespace, use their commerce, and everyone's addresses go into their commerce, and then you can connect your ShipStation or your Stamps.com account to your website, and it's all right there ready for you. There's no spreadsheets. There's no copying and pasting. There's no, but please, just another hour, wife. I love you. I'd do anything for you. I need to make sure that these are apartments or units. Also, international sales. It handles the shipping. The shipping excess because it charges more on my Squarespace to send books internationally, which thankfully I did do that. I mean, Melanie, this is the kind of shit I love talking about, or the X's and O's of the business side of stand-up. And I think the
Yeah.
comics should compare notes a lot more so we know when people are getting screwed on
Yes.
money, especially along gender
Yes.
lines, because women don't get
Yes.
paid as much as male comics a lot until they ask how much you
Yes.
got paid. But
Yes.
yeah, for sure. Don't try and, I didn't assume I would sell that many books. And you're totally right. Me having an extra $1,500 when I had, $35,000 of gross sales that first week, I would have gladly given that $1,500 away in
Yeah.
order to save the
The
100
anxiety,
hours, the 100
stress,
hours
the
of work that
stress.
I had to do.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So I would even kick that up a notch. I build websites for clients. I always do it on Squarespace, and I do it because it baked into the price of me building a website for people. I teach them how to use it, because I hate it when people come to me and they're like, well, my web person. And I'm like, well, when are they going to do it? You know what I mean? Like, your website should be able to be updated. As soon as you get that new credit, hey, I'm on Conan, or hey, I opened for this, or hey, come see me at Yuck Yucks, whatever. You can update your website daily, hourly, by the minute.
On your phone. You can do it right on your phone. Squarespace
You should
makes it
have
very
the
easy.
power to do that. Somebody else should not have the keys to your house. That is fucking point blank. Then I would even kick it up a notch to say, because you said you've never built a newsletter, that when they make that purchase, then they can be asked, hey, do you want to be added to the newsletter or not? Because I know that those people, those 1,500 or whatever people or more, whatever, that wanted to buy the book, wants to know what's going on with you. They're on Team Sam. You know what I mean? They want to know, hey, the book is here now, or hey, I'm coming to your town and doing a reading and also a show, or whatever it is. And then you can then ensure that they're coming along with you for the ride. But social media, even if you post, it's passive. It's if they see it.
Right.
Who knows how the fucking algorithms work? Nobody fucking knows. And then that newsletter is always so powerful as well. So getting a MailChimp and having it integrated with your sales is super, super helpful as well. That's kind of next level pro.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I have done that. I've gone through, and I didn't have MailChimp initially, but I do have a email aggregator now.
Oh, yeah, great.
I did copy and paste, at this point, around 5,000 emails into a spreadsheet again, because I'm my father's son. And, but yeah, I have because I had a newsletter initially called the Brain Dead Freaks, where I would write a monthly missive to them, like, here's what's up with me.
Yeah.
Here's a sample of some fiction I've done. And
Wonderful.
people really responded to that. But having those emails, man, there's no better currency. It's very important. Because like you said, that algorithm's trying to bury you. It's not trying to help you ever. And if you're dependent on people seeing your post on, God forbid, Facebook or whatever, I'm on Facebook, but I do think it's obviously it's dead on the vine for at least the demographics that I deal with typically.
Well, what's interesting though is, because I have some major comedians as clients, and I'm telling you, on the back end, Facebook is still the most powerful platform.
Really?
It's the biggest, it's the oldest. They know how to use it. It spans more age ranges. And it's still the beast. And Twitter gets the least amount of click-throughs, and then Instagram is kind of in the middle. And Instagram is tough because you only get one link, right? You only get that one link. So that's why I'm like, make that your website. And I always kind of disagree with people only put like the one link in their bio and I'm like, no, put all the links on a website. You're not just selling one thing, you're selling 5 things. You're selling, hey, I'm a comedian, I'm an author, hey, watch some videos, hey, book me, hey, contact me. Like, you want them to understand many things about you, not just one thing about you. Yeah. Because if I'm sure you definitely grew your audience through this process, just naturally, just people being like, hey, check out Sam, or I just got his book, or what have you.
100%. Because I'll see a predominant comedian in, let's say, Montreal or Buffalo posts about the book. And then you see that pebble, and that's the pebble in the lake. And then you see the ripples of people in Syracuse, Ithaca, Niagara Falls buying the book. And it's all because X comedian posted about it. And also a cool thing that I do that I think is very organic is I put, here's an old version, but I put this letter in every book I sell. Yeah, exactly. And now it has a QR code on there to go to my podcast. There's a hashtag involved now. But yeah, this letter has turned a lot of people on. And I do know that, and also my Amazon reviews, I have over 100 Amazon reviews, which is another form of currency.
So that's amazing. So even in just that little, and I have mine here too. Look.
Yeah, bingo. Yeah.
Right here on my desk. So what this did was it gave people a call to action. You gave them a call to action. You said, hey, while you're at it, here's my other things that you might not know about me because you might be a new person in my life. You haven't maybe been on the Sam train for the past 13 years.
Yeah, you're a Stanhope add-on or a Kreischer add-on or any of the numbers of podcasts I've done.
Amazing. So,
and also it's organic and it's kind of folksy and it's self-deprecating and it's literally thanking them and breaking it down like, hey, I made $17 off you buying it from me, as opposed to $7 from Amazon. Like, people want to know that they helped you, you know?
Yes, and I think people do want to know that they can champion you, and also too, I'm always speaking to audience. You know what I mean? Like, when someone decides to self-publish, that is a huge journey that they're on, and even if buying that one book means so much, you know what I mean? So for me, any friend that's ever doing anything, I just buy it. Like, I just want you to have that moment of getting that email to be like, you sold a copy. It means it's the biggest thing for us, you know, to sell a ticket. And I have this really amazing wise friend that's always like, Melanie, you don't need a million. You just need one. You just need one person, because one person can make that one phone call or send that one email. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're on Will Smith's show or what have you. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we're into this guy. We're digging on it, you know?
Yeah.
So, you guys, this we're going to go over now to my Patreon. So if you want to join us, Sam and I are going to keep talking about how he's promoted his book and the ins and outs of all of this stuff. So if you want to get more information about that, you can go to melanievesey.com/Patreon. And Sam, how can everyone get a hold of you? Is it just samtallent.com?
Yeah, samtallent.com is my website. sam.talent@gmail is my email address, and I'm at Sam Tallent on Instagram. So,
and it's Talent with 2 L's, because there's another Sam Tallent with 1 L that I tagged originally when I made my post.
Oh boy.
But this is the book.
I feel bad for that guy. He's getting a lot of tags.
Running the Light, to which you just need to get it, people, and follow Sam because he's got some really cool stuff coming up with Joka, Will Smith's show, which looks amazing. I have, you know, a few different people that I know that are going to be on the show. I mean, you're in some really fucking great company on that show.
Yeah.
That's going to be coming out hopefully in November. You can also just watch his videos, connect with him, follow him. And so we're going to keep this conversation going over on my Patreon. Again, if you want to know more about me, my weekly show, my comedy special, melanievesey.com. If you want to know more about my biz, promotionalrescue.com. So we'll see you guys later. Bye.